Hi, this is Ruth with the Happiness Project. Here in Indiana, we are on lockdown for the coronavirus. We're doing that. We're staying in because we want to slow the spread so the medical facilities can handle the people who get sick and we have a better recovery rate. So, all of this, it is there to help members of the population will help all of us. So I know that there's been some difficulties caused by this, including some people losing their jobs, or some people getting less income, and of course a lot of what I've heard, it is just the uncertainty causing a lot of fear, and sometimes the fear gets pretty intense, and sometimes it's just constant anxiety thoughts all day long. I wanted to tell a different side of the story for today. If you're driving down the street and there's a train wreck here on the left and there's a field of beautiful, beautiful flowers and trees and bloom and things like that on the right, you're generally looking to the left. It just draws us. That negative stuff draws our attention. It's got some kind of weird fascination to it. But I'm a real big fan of telling both sides of the story. And I wanted to share the stories that I've heard that are pro-social, that are very positive, that have been happening. Not just people, I know I see people walking around, I see them spending time with their families. I think there is some positives to slowing down and practicing community, practicing what it's like not to feel this need to rush around and create and perform and overwork and do these things that however that's happened in our society. That's a different discussion, that we want to overwork to prove our value and that we can't sit still and be comfortable. So practicing slowing down may be uncomfortable, but there may be a lot of positives out of it. Kids homeschooling, there's positives and negatives. They need to socialize, but I know that some of the parents are glad to be home with their kids and have a reason not to be so busy. But there's even more things going on, and I just thought I'd share. I put on my Facebook page already, if anyone hadn't noticed it, there is a story from the USA Today about a week and a half ago. It was Saturday. There was a coordinated citywide sing-along, and in the comments to the story you could see people actually taking video of the outdoors, out their window, and there's windows throughout Chicago and everyone is singing Bon Jovi's Living on a Prayer together. You hear all these voices. It's so cool. There are other things. Fort Wayne, there was a news story about how restaurants are going to be open to after the schools got closed. Hey, we'll open up and feed the kids, like bring the kids and we'll feed them during the day when they might have only had school lunches to eat that day. A friend of mine, his parents own a restaurant and they did that, and then I heard a lot of restaurants were doing that. I have another friend that was working from home, and once the schools got closed, she told everyone, bring your kids by. I'll feed them if they need it. I'll provide childcare if you need to go to work. So she was working from home and she could do that. So she offered that. There's other stories I've heard. There are two different projects I'm aware of in Fort Wayne alone about local philanthropy work to help give some work and give some funds to musicians who actually make some of their living or all of their living by doing gigs, since there's no gigs now, clearly. And then some musicians are just doing things online to, keep the art going and just to share. A lot of people are sharing their gifts online. My cousin lives in Texas, and she was sharing how a fella came up to her and her mother in Walmart and started, actually was good at staying 6 feet away, but then asked them some questions, just what's going on, this and that, and then asked them if they would like him to buy their groceries. Her mother said no thank you because she's doing fine, but my cousin is a newly single mom, recently separated, and she's got 3 kids, so she needs to get them fed. And so anyway, he was asking certain things and decided, okay, well, let me pay for your groceries. And she had already paid, so he gave her $100 bill. And he had started looking around for people that were in need of such things. They were talking a little more. He started paying for groceries. He's looking for a certain demographic: single moms, um, older folks, people that specifically looked like they needed a hand, and offering that. And I think it's cool too that her mom declined, knowing that they're okay. They didn't take advantage. But my cousin uh, also lost her job due to the changes recently. Her job was definitely a huge crowd, like entertainment industry type job. So she's no longer having income and having to rely on her parents. So this was really helpful. And come to find out, he started doing this, and I don't know if it was on social media or what, but people started contributing to help him, and then some agencies are doing that for nonprofit, and they're contributing. So they're like, here, take more money, keep doing this, go out, find the people, help them out. So there's a lot of people contributing so he can keep on paying for people's groceries. So that is a really cool story. I love these stories. Croc is giving away 10,000 pairs of Crocs to nurses. There's a daily lottery at noon. There are a lot of people reaching out to help in big ways and little ways. And I was sharing big ways, but there are very small ways too. Someone I know bought coffee for a nurse, sent them a gift card, said, here, have some coffee. You need it. And I know that you're working like crazy. And then the person that heard this went and sent something to a floor of nurses, sent $45 for 9 of them to get coffee, and said, here, have coffee, little things. I know someone that sent extra money to her hairstylist, more than twice what the price of the getting her hair done would be, because the stylist was out of work and is a single mom. There are people helping. Anytime there's difficulty, I said this recently to a reporter actually, but anytime there's difficulty, there's also humanity, there's resilience, there's people reaching out. It's not to downplay the difficulty, but it's to look and tell both sides of the story and share how, yeah, there are some people reacting in fear, but there are also people reacting with love. There are also people reacting with charity and heart and community. So I encourage you to notice this stuff, to pay attention and appreciate and love the signs that there are good there and that people are taking the opportunity for that. And even if it's the slow thing of, one last story, I know someone that's out of work and decided, I've been wanting to spend more time with my daughter anyway. I'm just going to stay home for a while because I have savings. How beautiful. She's been wanting that, and that's quality time that she would have missed otherwise, and that she's choosing now that there's a break, in between, like, okay, her job's going to lay off shortly here, and she's like, that's okay, I'm not going to look for a while. There are beautiful things happening. Let's use this time to remember each other, to notice those things, and to realize there are a ton of people out there that are not panicking, that are not freaking out, that are not hurting each other, and that are actually coming together. It's a beautiful thing to watch. Thank you.